Dr. Greeny here. Remember when I had to take a week off YouTube? Well, I was getting a Fraxel laser treatment and I want to share my journey today with you. Fraxel is an awesome anti-aging laser that I'm going to tell you about today. If you love my videos, please like and subscribe. I'm always here to help you get your best skin, so I don't want you to miss any videos. So click the bell so you know when I roll out a new video. The Fraxel treatment I had is called the Fraxel Dual. It has two wavelengths, a 1550 wavelength and a 1927 wavelength. This is pretty cool because the two different wavelengths can treat different things. Wavelength is important because that's what determines how far a laser goes into our skin and what it targets. The target for the Fraxel laser is water. When the laser targets water, it causes heat and thermal damage. Thermal damage stimulates new collagen formation, which is going to give you those anti-aging benefits. Now, typically longer wavelengths tend to penetrate deeper into the skin, but at a point, water tends to absorb it and it gets stopped higher in the surface of the skin. So like I said, the two wavelengths target different things. The 1927 helps target pigment, and pigment sits on top of our skin. The laser only reaches about 0.3 millimeters in depth, so it won't give you very much benefit for wrinkles. But the cool thing is the laser has another wavelength, which is 1550. This penetrates deeper into the skin. It reaches down about 1.6 millimeters. And in my experience, it hurts a little bit more. So between the two wavelengths, we can treat a bunch of things. We can treat sun damage, dark spots, wrinkles, fine lines, and even scars from acne or surgery. When done by an expert, this can be done on any skin type. So I always recommend you see a board-certified dermatologist or plastic surgeon. When used in inexperienced hands, you can get really bad side effects from laser therapies, like scarring and hyperpigmentation, which can be permanent. The Fraxel laser is unique because it's fractionated. That's where the name Fraxel comes from. It scatters a pattern of damage on the skin, leaving good skin in between, so it means you heal much faster. It's considered a non-ablative laser. Fully ablative lasers instead totally destroy the columns of skin that it penetrates, meaning slower healing. The cool thing about Fraxel is you can see results after one treatment, although most people will get between 3 and 5 treatments. I've only had one, but you can get them done about 4 to 6 weeks apart. It's great because the results can leave you looking refreshed without looking done. So here I am in the office, unsure of what's coming next. This is before I got numbing and put on my face, and this was basically my before video. So the procedure can be pretty painful. So they applied the topical numbing gel on my face that you can see here. It usually has to sit for about an hour to absorb and become effective. See how brave I am?
Okay, so he's gonna be brave and do the 1550 and the 1927. Ouchie.
I know, right? So now we're gonna get started with the treatment. Here you'll see the laser on my face, and they do passes vertically and horizontal. You'll also notice there's something in my mouth. That's called Pronox. It's kind of like laughing gas that you get at the dentist. It works almost immediately, and as soon as you stop using it, within 5 minutes or so, you feel normal and you can drive again. It definitely helps with the pain. It kind of dissociates you from the pain that you're feeling during the treatment. So the entire procedure continued on for about 35 or 45 minutes. It's not necessarily a good way to sell people on Fraxel, but when it was being performed, the best way I can describe it is it felt like a hot butter knife was being scraped on my skin, up and down, left and right. So immediately after the procedure, an ice pack was applied to my face. This was super cooling and it felt great. You can see my anguish here. Oh, God. Brutal. There was definitely a whole lot of edema or swelling right after the procedure. My face looked pretty red and also just puffy. The day after, I was pretty red and almost looked like I had a bad sunburn in a way. You could see the actual little dots where the Fraxel laser destroys the skin. 2 days after, I looked like hell. You can see here my pain and anguish, but I was on the road to recovery. Speaking of recovery, it definitely takes a lot of work to care for yourself after Fraxel. The most important thing is avoiding the sun completely to the best of your ability. I reapplied sunscreen probably 3 or 4 times a day, and I was greasing my face up with SwoleMD ointment. At least twice a day I was also using Elastin Skin Nectar. This has trihex technology, which helps old collagen be removed and new collagen form. 3 days after the procedure, I just continued to look darker, a little bit more crusty, and red. The first couple days, I definitely felt a little pain in my skin, but by day 3, it didn't hurt at all, it just looked bad. 4 days after the procedure, most of the brown crusting was starting to go away. I only had a little bit more around my hairline and stuff, but it was starting to get better. The problem was at about 4 days, I started getting breakouts around my mouth, and you can see a few of the pustules in this video. Part of that could have been because I was slathering ointment on my face 3 or 4 times a day. But also the oil glands get inflamed, so getting a little whitehead here and there can definitely happen with the procedure. So I continued down the road to recovery, and it's been about 6 weeks. This is my skin now. I'm really happy with it and definitely would do the procedure again. Before the procedure, I didn't have a ton of static and fixed wrinkles. I had some on my forehead, As far as dark spots, I didn't have many either, so the results maybe aren't super dramatic, but I think someone with fine lines and wrinkles and mild dark spots would benefit a ton from this laser procedure. A lot of people wonder how much this laser procedure costs. It's definitely going to be north of $1,000. It's totally dependent on who's doing it and where you live in the country. The lasers themselves are very expensive. A used one goes for over $30,000, but a new one is much higher than that. So overall, I do it again. It's an awesome treatment because it can treat so many different things like scars, dark spots, and wrinkles. Thanks so much for checking out my journey with the Fraxel Dual laser treatment. I'm always here to help you get your best skin, so don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week.